And good morning, good morning, good morning. Welcome to Chalk Talk. I'm your host, Kim Davis. Happy Tuesday, everybody. Today is Tuesday, July the 25th. I cannot believe we're talking about July being almost over. And here's what else I can't believe that Houston Texans training camp opens tomorrow. It is that time, y'all. Training camp opens tomorrow. Before you know it, we'll be talking about the first preseason game. Then we'll be talking about roster cuts. And before you know it, boom, the regular season. We're going to talk about all that today, right? Texans training camps. Just know Chalk Talk is your place to be for, well, it's always your place to be. But over the next month, we're going to be there through everything happening in training camp. We'll bring it all to you. You can get it here on the weekly show. We'll have updates throughout the week on all of the social platforms. So you don't want to miss it. Stay locked into Chalk Talk so that you can hear what's happening with the Texans. Like, who's doing what? Who are we watching? How's this new coaching staff look? I'm really curious to see how it all pans out. I'm excited. It's fun times, and I'm hydrated. Right? Let me just drink some water. Thinking about it. Anyway, it's gonna be good times. Also, listen, we are in the thick of things with the Houston Astros. Astros are back home. It seems like they've been gone forever. They haven't played at home since before the All-Star break. They're home um, playing the division leading Texas Rangers. Last night, they won that game. It was an interesting outing in terms of pitching, right? The pitchers kind of struggled early, both pitchers, but they were each able to you know, get into the fifth inning, which is more than I thought with the way the game started. The Astros won last night. And I just want to show you. So where are they? So right now the Astros are 2 games behind the Rangers. They were 3 games behind, but because it's a head-to-head, them winning a game, winning gives them the entire game. So they close the gap. The Rangers are 59 and 42. The Astros are 57 and 44. They're both 7-3 over their last 10 games. Tonight, they are back in action at Minute Maid Park. There's a good chance, or there is a chance, let me not say good chance, that Jordan Alvarez will play tonight. We will find out. Last night's game, the final was 10-9. In the bottom of the ninth, Chas McCormick, who was amazing. Of course, last week he was the AL Player of the Week, but last night he accounted for 5 of their 10 runs. Yeah, McCormick was nothing short of amazing. There was a walk-off in the bottom of the ninth to give the Astros a 10-9 victory. Game 2 is tonight of this 3-game series. And they could use another win. The Astros could use another win. I've always said if the Astros were close, they'd be fine. They just got to get healthy. They're without Altuve. They're without Alvarez. They're without Brantley. And of course, they've been without Urquidy. I mean, they've been shorthanded, if you will, with pitchers. So tonight, they're back at it. And JP France will start for the Houston Astros, and Corey Bradford will start for the Texas Rangers. And here's the thing, will Alvarez play tonight? We're not sure yet. I'm going to let you hear from Dusty Baker shortly. But before we go any further, good morning, everybody. Welcome, welcome, welcome. I want to make sure that I let you hear from some people who help us do this each and every week. Our good friends over at I Love Jinka. You've heard us talk about turmeric paste. In fact, one of the co-founders, Kim Edwards Williams, is going to join us at the bottom of the hour to not just talk about Jinka and the products, because that is important, but also this journey of being an entrepreneur, especially in these trying times, because while things are good in a lot of ways, as an entrepreneur, there are things that we just have to constantly navigate. So she's going to join us and we're going to talk about some things you should know about Jinka. And for those of you who said, you know what, I know, Kim, you've told us this product is great. I just the paste is good. It's just, I have to make a latte, or I have to put it in apple juice, and I want something that's just more simple. Well, there are the veggie caps. You can get those everywhere, and you get the same goodness you get from the paste, but in a capsule. And you can either open a capsule and dump the powder in your coffee or your juice or your smoothie, or you can just take the capsule like a capsule. Just pop it in your mouth, drink some water, take the capsule. So there are ways you can get it without having to make the drink or make the smoothie and make the thing. You can just take it as a capsule or a powder. We're going to talk about all of that today. So here is just a reminder for those of you who are like, well, I know you said HEB carries it. I know we can get it from their website. You definitely want to go to their website, ilovejinka.com. But if you're in HEB, this is where you find it, okay? When you go to the store.
Here at HEB, in the Healthy Living Department of Probiotics, you can find Jinka 7 days a week.
Yeah. Look at a lot of Jinka sale. Look at that. Jinka.
And I also want to remind you about Kimmy Treats, the vegan popcorn. You can get that online at kimmytreats.com, the Kimmy bars, and also the body butter. Now, listen, if you happen to be in Houston, I'm going to encourage you to go over to Sunshine's on Old Spanish Trail near the medical center and NRG and in the center of town, because you can pick up your body butter in person. If the body butter shipped to you in the summer in this heat, it is going to melt. It's okay. When you receive it, you can just pop it in the refrigerator, let it kind of reformulate, if you will, and it'll be the same goodness. But if you want to get it and not have to worry about that, you can go to the store at Sunshine's. It's the very same product. You can get it there. They have some in stock. In fact, this afternoon, they'll be restocked with all the popcorn and all the Kimmy bars as well. But the body butter, it's there now. So go by and get some body butter and you won't be sorry. All right, so I told you I was going to let you hear from Dusty Baker. So yesterday before the game, we talked with Dusty and we asked him about Yordan Alvarez, right? He had a rehab stint with Sugarland, and he was out at Minute Maid Park yesterday. So how is Alvarez doing, and what does it look like in terms of his possible return? And here's what Skipper Dusty Baker had to say.
Well, he's real close. So we're not sure if it's tomorrow or the next day. We got to come out and test him some more and see if he's, really ready.
Good to get eyes on him today. And
oh, yeah. Yeah, and I had a long discussion with him, and also I haven't talked to Altuve yet, but I heard he had a real good day. Off the machine, which is what you always worry about with the oblique. You worry about velocity. And so, so far so good.
Won't play any more games for Sugarland.
No, because Sugarland's off today. Yeah, he was, he'd have played today probably.
Yeah.
But so, like I said, we'll make a decision tomorrow. We're without him a long time, so another day or two even, to give him and us confidence that he's 100%. Is what we're doing.
So listen, I agree with that. Another day or two to make sure that he's really ready, to give him the confidence, give the team the confidence is important, because Yordan Alvarez changes everything in this lineup, right? He changes everything. And so the Astros need a healthy Alvarez to make any kind of run. They absolutely do. And I'm going to say this. I think Alvarez should be the DH only. I mean, I know he wants to play in left field. You want to keep your players happy, but he shouldn't be an everyday left fielder. He just shouldn't. I mean, we need him healthy. The Astros need him healthy. They need him in the lineup. And if he's going to play, maybe let him play a day or two a week, if that. I'm for him just being the DH. I mean, he's not a liability in the field, but he's most important to you for what he does to the lineup. It's not just his one spot, is how he impacts the rest of the lineup completely. Because when Alvarez is in the lineup, it changes what pitchers have to do to everybody else because they have to always think about what Jordan can do. So that's what I think. You know me, I trust Dusty. Whatever Dusty says, and I know it's collective. It's what Dusty says and what Dana thinks and what they can get talk about with Alvarez. But a healthy Alvarez is super important for this team to be successful. Speaking of being successful, you heard him talk about Altuve. Dusty talked about Altuve. He said he at that point, this is pregame yesterday. He had not talked with Altuve yet. We saw Altuve out. Getting the work in, running the bases. And we also saw Michael Brantley out on the field. I just will wait until I hear anything, right? Because the Brantley thing has been so kind of on again, off again. We wish him the best and hope that he can get back this season and be a part of this team's effort. They could certainly use him if they could get him back and get him back healthy. So this is Dusty also talking about injured players. He says when they say they're ready, let's give them another day or two. Here's why. Listen to what Dusty said.
Just from my experience, I mean, if a guy says he's ready, I always give him another day, whether it's Alvarez or Tuve or whoever, because I've been there before. And, you're always itching to get back. You always say, "Oh, I'm fine, I'm fine, I'm fine," and then a lot of times you're really not fine. Something else happens to set you back. So we'd rather take a extra day or two at this point, make sure we have it. Is it possible?
Absolutely. Take an extra day or two to make sure that you have them. So we'll see. Tonight, the Astros are, as I mentioned, are back in action with the Texas Rangers, the division-leading Texas Rangers at Minute Maid Park. And we'll be over there. We'll find out if Jordan is back in the lineup. We'll find out how close Altuve is. And we'll just kind of see if there's anything being said about Michael Brantley, right? We'll just see. It'd be great if the Astros could win tonight and tomorrow, if they could sweep the Rangers, but the Rangers are, the top team in the division for a reason. But I think I've said this to you guys all season. If the Astros are close, I'm not concerned, especially because they haven't really been full strength at all, really. And if they have been, it hasn't been for very long. So we will see. And I talked to someone last night who I would say is definitely an expert in baseball and scouting and understanding the business of the game and all that goes with it. And he also said he didn't think that the Rangers were built for it, to go wire to wire. Clearly, they're a very good team, but are they built to be the ones to go all the way? He didn't think so. I don't either. We will see. Right now, they are leading. They have been leading the whole season, the American League West Division. The Astros are 2 games back, and they have today and tomorrow to try to, gain some more ground on the Texas Rangers. But there's still a lot of season left. The other thing we want to talk about quickly is the fact that the trade deadline is next Tuesday, a week from today? It's August the 1st. At 6 p.m. Eastern time. And will Dana Brown and Jim Crane be able to make anything happen? Will they be able to bring in another arm? Or maybe there's a bat that they want to add to the lineup to shore up the offense. I don't know. Can they get something done before the trade deadline? But here's the problem, the challenge. Let's call it a challenge. What do the Astros have to deal? They don't have a lot of prospects to give. Are you going to give somebody from the current lineup that you have? I mean, what do you do? This is going to be interesting to see. And I've heard some rumblings about things and names. I mean, in terms of who you might get, but it always comes back to get something, you got to give something. And what do the Astros have to give? We'll see. Hopefully have somebody on soon with us to talk a little bit about this, who can give some other perspective and insight on what could happen with this Houston Astros team and this lineup as a trade deadline approaches over the next week. Let's see. There's some of you who have joined in. Thank you. Hey, Tony. Good morning, my friend. It's good to see you. I was just about to bring this up. The Bronny news is disturbing. I earlier today, or actually it happened on yesterday, Bronny James, the son of LeBron James, suffered a cardiac arrest while working out at USC. He is going to he's going to play at USC. He is in stable condition. When I hear about young players, young athletes suffering from things, health issues, especially things of the heart, it really makes me pause. I mean, what is he? 17, 18 years old? And so, it's disturbing. Hopefully he'll be able to fully recover, because the key is that he fully recovers and is healthy, and then that he's still able to, you know, if he compete and play at the level he wants. But what's most important is that he's healthy, that he recovers fully, and that his heart is okay. And so I send prayers to LeBron James' son, his entire family, because when one person in the family suffers something, it really impacts the entire family. So that's that. And you're right. It was 6 RBIs for Chaz last night. I was thinking headed into the ninth inning, he was responsible for headed into that last at bat. He was responsible for 5 of their 9 runs. And then, of course, he was responsible for the 6th one, which put them over the top. 6 of the 10 runs last night. It's been, listen, one of the things that Chas McCormick can do is he can turn a fastball around. He can, and he got one, and he did. So it was great to see the Astros get that win last night. They needed it, and Chas McCormick continues to, to be a real player. Hey, good morning, James. Thank you for being a part. Welcome, welcome. Hello, Attorney Charles Lamar Drayton. Thank you. It's good to see you. Good to be with you on the show. And yes, Dusty. And Dusty, we trust. Absolutely. They are getting it done. And so I had somebody ask me, was I doing a show someplace a week ago? And they said, should Dusty be, manager of the year? Absolutely. I mean, think about what they've had to deal with to this point. Right now, today, he is my AL manager of the year. I don't know who else would be. James Holiday says, not ready to give up on any current everyday players. Okay. I'm with you, which makes it difficult, James, in terms of what do you do? Because if you look at the everyday players, who do you give up on? If you look in the outfield, yeah, Tucker's a given, obviously. You got McCormick, who I think clearly should be a mainstay in center. And then you can Jake in and out. I know he could be in left, he and Corey Julks. But the infield, Brehu at first, Altuve when he's back at 7. Right now, Mauricio Dubon, and then Pena at short, Bregman at 3rd. Where do you put somebody? Your catchers are set. It's difficult. So when you talk about making a move, you got to give to get, James, right? You got to give to get. So we'll see. Yeah, James says the same thing. Bronny gives me reason to pause as well. There was a young woman yesterday who's apparently an entertainer, a singer who I'm not really familiar with, but young, who had some health issues with blood clots or something. I'm like, what is happening? Young people, right? Suffering from these different things is really, it makes me pause. And so while I send prayers to Bronny and a young woman yesterday whose name I apologize, I can't remember because I wasn't familiar with her, you send prayers to them and their families, because for your child, your teenager, especially, one who it didn't even matter if he's a great athlete and you would think he's healthy, but your teenager heading to college has cardiac arrest and has to be rushed to the hospital. He was in ICU. He's in stable condition and has been moved from ICU, is the last update that I was able to find. But yeah, you just send prayers to the families, because that is a lot. Hey, good morning, sunshine. That's my sister Sylvia. Good morning. Good morning. It is a lot to think about, and it makes you stop and say, am I doing everything I can to be as healthy as possible? Because it's not even just about age, clearly, right? These are young people, and some folks would say these are babies. They wouldn't want to be called babies because they're, I'm going to college, but at 18, to me, you're a baby. And so what are we doing? How are we living? And let me just say this, and this has nothing to do with Bronny, because I don't know anything about that health situation. But let me say this, if you happen to be in the Houston area, or really probably anywhere in the country for the most part, it is hot. Make sure that you're staying hydrated, because by the time you get really thirsty, your body is already kind of dehydrated. So you should be drinking water every day throughout the day, not just when you go outside. Like I'm going to be at training camp. Now I'm not competing, but I will be standing out there in the sun for a couple hours every day. So I have to hydrate every day. I can't just wait until I'm out on the field, right? It is, I'm drinking water. Like I take hot yoga, right? And if I don't drink enough water the day before, when I'm in hot yoga at 6 a.m., I can't get enough water. So you've got to stay hydrated. So that's just my little public service announcement. Stay hydrated, guys. It is hot. And my other sister says hot is an understatement. Absolutely. Listen, this heat is just flat out disrespectful. That's all I got. It's disrespectful. And the thing that we can do is just to stay hydrated. And let me also say this, not just because I don't have any, soda sponsors, but soda, those sugary drinks, not what you want to do, because that is going to just dehydrate you. The sugary drinks are not great for you. So drink you some water. If you got to put a little lemon in it, do that. But you want to stay hydrated. We are getting ready almost for our guest today, the big interview. I'm super excited. I mean, I talk to her all the time. And so I'm like, I haven't had you on the show lately. So I'm going to go on and bring in where are we? Our next guest, the big interview, Kim Edwards Williams. Good morning. Good morning. Welcome, Sister Chalk Talk. I'm loving all the colors. I'm loving, and I'm loving the kitchen. That's one of my favorite places. Welcome back to Chalk Talk, my friend.
Thank you very much. Thanks for having me.
Absolutely.
I'm trying to get my setup together. You see, I'm in a new space.
I see you're in a new space. It looks good. I like it. Look, I'm going to be coming over there and broadcasting myself. Okay.
Please do. This is definitely our new studio.
So I was talking the other day to Kim, and I told her, I said, I do the big interview and I've got some great lineups of guests, of people coming. I said, but I've got to do a better job about having some women on in my big interview. I've got to be more intentional about it, right? Not a woman segment, but just women in my big interview. So luckily Kim bailed me out this week, so I wouldn't have to be on a long, long streak of not having any women. What is happening with I Love Jinka? I was talking earlier about the people who don't want to try to navigate the pace, which we've talked about for years. Get you some capsules. It's super easy, but get it in your system.
Absolutely. Thank you for all of your support with Jinka for all the years, and all the wonderful Chalk Talk supporters that support Jinka. We appreciate you guys. We feel it. We see it literally in the numbers. So thank you. What Jinka does is reduce inflammation. We have a product that is a mix of 8 different roots and herbs that have been here forever, right? But if we're educated on the daily use of these herbs, they're really changing lives. And so we have a product that reduces inflammation, and we're seeing it do amazing things for lots of people. And so that's just our message, that check your inflammation radar and get on it.
So let me say this. I notice that when I'm consistent with Jinka, I wake up like, I don't have an energy level issue, but I do notice a difference. I wake up before my alarm. I'm like, I'm okay, I'm up. I guess I should just get up. I mean, I get up and I have plenty of energy throughout the day. And then when it's time for me to go to sleep, I go to sleep and I sleep well. And so I believe that is because I am more consistent with my Jinka. And that's one of the things for me that I've noticed. Also, I sometimes have issues with my ankle, or I work out a lot, 5-6 days a week. It helps in terms of recovery. So I know I should have it consistently. And when I don't, I can tell, like, oh, something's not as great. It's because I don't have my Jinka.
It's definitely consistency. Well, let me just show you how I manage my consistency. So at our house, we have a bowl
of
capsules where we have sit out like it's a fruit bowl. It is. And this is just a reminder to get you one.
Right.
Because it is consistency. And so it does help me get up in the morning. It helps me go to sleep at night. It is reduction of all the aches and pains that my cute little 49-year-old body has these days. But it's definitely consistency. We've been doing it 8 years now, and we've talked to lots of people like you and me, even in terms of consistency. That people are like, oh my God, I hadn't had my Jinka in 2 months and I definitely feel it. That's the problem. Or, someone looks up and they hadn't had it in a couple of weeks and they realize it. And so in 8 years, we've seen that journey for people realize that it's all about consistency. And so over these 8 years, we have several people that have gone and came and come back, but they know it works.
So one of the things, Kim, and one of my sisters, Sylvia, she's always telling people about Jinka. She's a believer. I don't know that she takes it consistently, right? But I know that people, if she has anything pop up, like maybe she's feeling a little under the weather, or maybe she thinks she's getting a cold, she's like, I better get some Jinka. But I think it's something that should be like a part of your daily regimen, like we're talking about, for people who think, oh, I'm going to take a vitamin. Take whatever it is that you're supposed to take. But the Jinka is helping with so many other things. Like, I know you guys would never say for people to stop taking the medicine that's prescribed by their doctors, but consistent use of Jinka is helping people get off some of that medication. And I think that's exciting.
It's true. I have an eyebrow client that told me he lived in Hong Kong for about 5 years. And when he was there for those 5 years, after having a little too much to drink, a little too many heavy nights partying, he'd always come home and drink their concoction of this turmeric mix, this turmeric shot that he would make. And when he came back and he started coming to me and saw that we were doing this product, he said, you know what? I don't know why I didn't do that every morning. He said, after I would take that shot, it would just make my body feel amazing. And so he said, now coming here and seeing you sharing it as a daily lifestyle product, I realized how I was missing out only doing it when I was hungover. So there's definitely something in the consistency. And the thing about Jinka is it's yummy. And so it really can fit into your daily routine. And so I always ask people, what do you drink in the morning? What do you eat? What do you do? Because it can easily get dropped in your coffee. It can easily get dropped in your water. You could easily take a couple capsules on your way out. So however you do your thing, I love to have me this morning I have a warm tea. I have a tea. I added a hibiscus tea, and then I just opened a couple capsules and put in. And at night, I'll do the same thing. I like it warm. It makes my throat feel great because I talk a lot. But I also get great rest at night with it. And so I definitely know that. And thank you, Renice. Renice is a longtime supporter, and she says it definitely works, and it does. And I know it's in consistency, and it's finding ways to put it in your own life. So we added into oatmeal and yogurt and smoothies and all our beverages, but even including margaritas and Hennessy and Baileys and all that great we can talk about on another segment. But it's consistency.
Well, one of the things I've started doing is taking the capsules because it's just easy for me. I like it to make a latte and do other things. But when I take the capsules, I'm definitely more consistent. And so I'm getting those in daily. And if you travel, if you move around a lot, capsules are great because you can just carry them with you.
Yes, you can carry them with you. They're in so I also do the laundry. And so I definitely have caught lots of capsules in my pants because I always have them. Right. I also have a 9-year-old, almost 10 now. And she keeps me active. So I can also get a couple in around 3:30, give me a boost of energy. So it's really a lifestyle, and it's just food. So remember, It's just food. You can't do too much of this.
So, we've talked about the benefits of Jinka, and I don't think we can overstate it. I think it's important. I mean, I think people, Kim, are looking for something, right? You've got this boom of these hydration drips. Not knocking it, get what you need. But one of the things people go for is, oh, I was out, I kind of did too much, I'm going to get a hydration drip, right? I say get you a Jinka drip, get you a Jinka capsule, get you a regimen of Jinka because one, it's definitely more affordable than having to go in to get a hydration and IV drip. Um, and it's just all kinds of goodness. Sylvia says, is there a limit to how much you can take?
So Sylvia, the answer to that is no, it's food. You know, the great thing about our product being sold in grocery stores is the paste can actually be purchased with food benefits because it's only food. And so, you know, there have been some studies with turmeric, people wondering how much turmeric can I take? That's a big topic. And unless you're eating pounds and pounds of turmeric a day, that's not a thing you need to worry about. This is food. These are spices that's in your cabinet. We're just showing you different ways to utilize them to get the benefits that they're here for.
So so that means you can take it all the time, Sylvia, because she's always telling people about the benefits of Jinka. One of the things I also want to talk about is this journey. You guys started this business 8 years ago, and we talked about the story. It didn't start as a business. It started as a how can I make sure my wife is healthy thing, and it turned into a business. But can you talk about just navigating the business piece? Because I know for you, we have these conversations often. You want people to get it because you just believe it helps, and especially the community, our community in particular, because of, you know, you drive through our neighborhoods and you see all these dialysis centers and just all of the things and all of the medicine and all the stuff. I can't believe I did that. Um, we should, so we know that our community needs something like this. So how do you balance? I want to get it to people because I believe they need it with, but it's a business and I've got to do some business things. I know for you that's been interesting.
Yeah, it's great question, Kim. It has been interesting because it the business isn't naturally me. I am naturally community. I am naturally, we have a solution, let's get it out to the people. And so over the last, I've been a business owner with Eyebrow Energy for over 20 years now. And so the business piece has always been a little difficult for me. We're learning a lot when it comes to Jinka because the grocery industry is definitely different. And so I have great coaches like yourself that's able to help me navigate this. Honestly, I wouldn't be able to do it without you. And you know that. I appreciate you.
Thank you.
Yes. And you and several other friends who have helped me really with my communication, with my understanding, with helping me see the things that I don't know. And so I guess the piece for the big thing for me is be open to learning and ask questions and get help. I have a village around me that's helping me with helping us with this. We're learning something new almost every day. We're making some mistakes. We are cleaning them up. We are doing all the things that you do in a business. And so, but that has been hard for me because I do know the benefits. I do know it's changing lives. And I just want to get it to people. So if I had the budget, I would give it away. I've been try this product. So, but I've been able to ease through this thing with help of mentors and coaches.
So you mentioned the grocery industry, and I don't know that people. I know I didn't. Now that I've learned a lot from working with you and LJ through your journey. The grocery industry it's kind of like real estate, right? Because all of those spaces on those shelves, I think that the grocers on their side, they're not so much looking at it as what great products can I get to these consumers? Like they could use Jinka because it's good for them, or maybe there's a Kimmy treat they'd like. It is really about this much real estate and how much can I make on this real estate? And when you start to look at it and understand it as a business owner, because the consumer that's not the consumer's issue, but that's a whole different approach, right? You're kind of selling real estate.
It really is. The basis of the grocery game for me is understanding it as real estate. And so if I'm leasing a piece of someone's property, that's how that works. I'm leasing and that's the relationship. And so what's been great with our grocery retailers is that we've partnered with HEB, and they're helping to navigate us through this by being very they brought us in, and so we've been able to maybe skip some of those real estate things that are out there for everybody. But it's a lot to learn. It's a lot to learn, and I can't wait till I'm in a position to share with others, because the industry is amazing. It's something that we touch every day. Almost everyone's going to go to the market at least once a week, at least once a month, and so it's a product that people like us aren't necessarily in that industry. And so to me, it's exciting to bring this to our culture, to women in general, because there is a whole world out here that I don't think we knew about. And it's billions of dollars.
And one of the things that, Kim, you often say is many of us are making things, right? There's something that you make that you use in your home. It's a product, and there's a space for it, right? And especially with the economy being so unpredictable and things that we just really can't control, if there's something that you make and use and is valuable and people like it, it could be something that other people might want to make and use. And that's all you can really control. That's where if you need some control in your life, that's the place the place you can get it, right? Because there's not many places you can
designed. Yes. Right. And I love that most of us in our refrigerators right now, we have some kind of mason jar with a little concoction in it that we're holding over for the next meal and all the things. Those are products. Those are things that can be bulk manufactured and sold. And so that's been exciting for me to learn and to really just see how many people around us are creators that have these potential products. And so, like I said, I think sometimes I jump to the help space before I can even handle my stuff first. And so we will be having a space where we can share this with other people, to share this information, because more families should be building in this manner.
So as you guys have been building, Jinka has expanded to beyond just the turmeric capsules and paste and powder. It's going to be powder soon. Tell us about the soap. I know the soap is online, but at some point, the soap is going to be in a few really exciting places.
Yes. So the soap is pandemic, basically. We had been playing with soaps for a while, for the last several years, and pandemic came around and we had some extra time. And so we really got to hone in and create some really great soaps that's helping a lot of people with skin issues. Our soap is called GAS, which stands for Good Ass Soap. And, it comes in 3 different types. We have an oatmeal, a shea, and a honey. And we're seeing amazing things: eczema, chicken skin, psoriasis, all those things that are inflamed. That's it's helping with. But the soap is, we have a couple of big places that it's going. One I can't announce yet. That'll be coming up soon. But then another is the military. So we're still getting it all done, but it will be located on the Military Shop My Exchange website, as well as military Air Force bases around the world. And so the soap will be there. Very soon it'll be at HEB and all the things. It's the scale up of it all. We really should be talking scale and how that works, because it's a lot. And since we're creators, we don't have we're not limited on number of products. We've got 200 products waiting on us, right? And so it's more so learning right now, seeing how this works, and slowly playing in the long game. That's how we look at it.
So I think you mentioned something that's great. You mentioned scale. So let's say I'm a person that's got a product or an idea. Well, let's go beyond. You've got an idea, but now you've turned your idea into a thing. It's a product or a service. But let's say it's a product. And I want the product to really grow. I want to scale the product. where do I even begin? Because I don't think the average person entering the space understands that. There's no reason why you would, unless you've been around somebody who's been through it. What's been the most difficult or challenging part of it? And what's the best advice you give someone?
So the best advice I would give someone is to get a coach.
Mm.
Pay for
Yeah.
the advice. You don't have to spend 5 years trying to navigate and figure this thing out. Pay for an expert person to navigate you through this. That's number one. Master your product. I think a lot of people are out here wanting to move a little faster on products that haven't been truly vetted. And so master your product. And what I mean by that is master the temperature of it and how you ship it and how long it lasts and what's good and what's not. And does this ingredient need to be in there? Play with that thing, do focus groups with your friends, make sure that part is tight. And those two can hold you for a minute. I think we brew up something this Saturday and we're trying to mass market it to Target next week. It's not how it's working. It's hard to kind of see the whole journey, but me and my husband for the first 5 years, we were schlepping around doing farmers markets every week, pop-ups and things like that, so there's levels to this. And so I would say, after you master your product and you have your coach, work on networking, going to conferences and conventions. There are a lot of food conventions. There are a lot of associations and various things you can join. And in those spaces, you're going to get the info. We're the artists, so we got the product already, right? It's the information that we need. And so I would say get to networking in some conferences.
One of the things Kim and I did recently was I'm a member of the Houston Hospitality Association. I have to get used to saying that. It was the Greater Houston Convention and Visitors Bureau. So I'm a member of HHA and I'm on the board. And we were a sponsor of the Texas Restaurant Association's annual show that happened to be in Houston this year, a couple weeks ago. And so Kim and I went to it. It was my first time going to the Texas Restaurant Association show. It was a huge trade show. Whether you owned a restaurant, you own something that goes in a restaurant, from the napkins to the ingredients to the equipment, you had a delivery service. I mean, there are people that came from as far away as Saudi Arabia and Turkey that talked about, ghost kitchens. I mean, it was just a ton of information. And it was 2 days, kind of 3, because we went the first day that we weren't supposed to be there, but who knew? And kind of walked into a couple of the ghost kitchen sessions. But one of the things that I noticed, there weren't a lot of Black restaurant owners there. And I'm not a restaurateur. I have a couple products. So I was really interested in what was happening, and it was great to be there. And I know there's a lot of, in Houston, and I'm sure around Texas, restaurant owners of color, and they weren't there. And I was like, wow, this is great information. I mean, Marcus Davis from the Breakfast Club, of course, was there. And I said, hey, Marcus, he said, I'm just always looking to see anything I should know. Should I learn something? What's out here? And I think as entrepreneurs, as creators, as business owners, we have to embrace that more. So when you set conferences and conventions, that's what it's about, right? Meeting different people and seeing what's new. What are folks doing, and what do they have that might benefit my process?
Absolutely. Yeah, absolutely. When you see a veteran in the restaurant game like Marcus Davis walking around with a free giveaway bag, checking out,
right,
just like us, is because we are gathering knowledge. And so I think a lot, it's easy to want to skip some of those steps, y'all, but it's no need to do that. The more information you get, the more the more you build your network, it's only going to make that other side much easier. So once again, master your product and get a coach.
Get a coach, master your product. And it's still a business, right? It is a business, and it's the business piece of it that's so important. I found myself drawn to sometimes entrepreneurs or business owners who are great at the creative piece and what they do, and if they've created something amazing, but need a little help with maybe understanding that communication piece, navigating the space on the executive level. That's a place I'm super comfortable, and I get it. But that's a place that's necessary for us to understand. You know, Kim, I was having a conversation the other day with a local president of a really large organization about, I guess it was about diversity. That wasn't what we said, but that really what the conversation was about. And so about a couple of positions that they had on the executive level. And I said to him, I said, when you use recruiters, and I've seen this with organizations I've been a part of that use recruiter to try to hire an executive, you sometimes miss out on talent. Like you would miss out on us, especially, you know, especially a lot of times African American and Americans and other people of color, because we don't check the boxes the same way. It's not that we don't have experience, but because we have to sometimes navigate differently to get opportunities, it's going to look differently. And if you don't have somebody in the chair who's open to say, you know what, but Kim's got adjacent experience that makes her really qualified and could be a really good person to consider, I see so much more clearly now how we are so often overlooked by being a part of a team that deals with a recruiting firm and says, that's how it works. And so I had this conversation with this particular gentleman. I don't mention his name because I didn't tell him I was going to talk about it publicly. And he was like, that's fair. And then he told me some things that he was doing in terms of how they were he was pushing their recruiter in some of these positions. And that's what it takes. If you're really committed, and when I talk about being diverse, you know, I know that's kind of, I live in Texas, that's taboo, which is a whole nother show. But really what it means is I'm also diversifying my talent, which makes me a better business and able to compete on a global level better. That's really what it's about. It's not just about checking the box that people look different. And so if you're committed to saying, I want to be the best at who I am, you've got to have that mindset and be open to do it differently. And I think those are things that I see. And in this space where we're in now, you know, listen, if you follow the show, you probably know I'm a Texas A&M graduate. I don't talk about it a whole lot and things that have happened over the recent weeks. So why? What happened with the journalism, you know, professor who was coming in, Kathleen McEnroe, who actually, Kim, our fathers are friends. Our dads were really good friends. They knew each other from high school. I met Kathleen when she worked at the New York Times. Don't have a relationship with her. Don't know if she would remember me, but definitely know her work. And then just to hear something else happening at Texas A&M, it's crazy times. And so what do? We have to know how to navigate and work in these spaces without being super frustrated, because that's easy to do. Yeah, I went off on that tangent, but I just wanted to share.
No, 100% I get it. And it definitely can be super frustrating. That's why the tip number 2 was get a coach.
Yeah.
You know, I'm almost 50 now, and I'm not saying that I'm always learning new things, but it's certain things that's just not my skill set. And so I'm very comfortable with learning and letting people who know how to do that piece. I'm big on collaboration, so I don't want to jump in any other lane.
Right. And listen, when Kim says she's big on collaboration, she is.
And right. Thank you, Kim, but Kim is the best at this expert corporate communication conversation. And so once again, like I said, when I say get a coach, that's what I mean, because that way, I guess, because it's not everybody. You need to know your strengths and your weaknesses. And I've been out of corporate America over 20 years, you know, and it runs a whole nother way today. Yeah. It always has, but today, even more so with technology. And so I'm just grateful to have help navigating it. And that's what I share with a lot of, not necessarily young people, but young people in the industry. Mm-hmm. Let's not fight through this. Let's get help.
Yeah. Because they're great opportunities, right? If we prepared for it,
absolutely.
The upside is great. And it could be as big as you want. You may say, well, you guys are doing I don't really want to do all of that. Well, you don't have to. Maybe you say, I'm not interested in being a part of the military. I would like to be in a few stores in my area. Then do that. If that works for you, and be okay with that.
Absolutely.
Be prepared for that. Right.
Absolutely. There's small contracts all around you. I mean, you have a favorite corner store that you go to. Your product may start off there. That's what I believe. If it's not going to the corner store that likes you and that knows you, why would anyone else want it? And so, get in that one store and master that relationship and that onboarding process and all the things that come with it, and watch how that moves to something else.
Rainey says, great advice. Recognizing the skill sets are crucial. Absolutely. And back up to what Charles said. I talked earlier before you came on camera about Bronny James, LeBron's son, who suffered cardiac arrest yesterday while practicing at USC. He's just finished high school. And I was saying, when I hear these stories about these young people with these health issues, especially heart issues, it makes me pause. It's just stop. I say, a little prayer and sending light and healing to him and his family, because it's got to be tough as a parent. I don't have kids. I know you do. To hear that a 18-year-old who's headed to college to start the next chapter of his life suffers cardiac arrest while working out. That's scary.
It's a lot. And but it definitely should bring pause, because having a 9-year-old right now, I can tell you that she's playing volleyball.
Mm-hmm.
And there are some volleyball coaches out here right now with her at 9. They're asking me to start thinking about her getting a volleyball scholarship for college. I can't get that to make sense.
Right.
I cannot at all get that to make sense. And so I'm about to spend, $30,000 a year to help her be good at volleyball so I can get a scholarship for $50,000 in 10 years. I'm not sure.
Right.
Working. And so I definitely see, since I'm in it now, that the push for young players and the intensity and the number of practices and all the things is a real thing. It's when you're trying to give a 9-year-old 2-a-days.
Right.
I didn't know. So I'm not trying to make any light of what's going on with the James family. I'm just saying that I know athletes today are pushed a lot harder than maybe necessary. And there are some lifestyle things that we all can add to our lives that can help with various things. And herbs and reducing inflammation out of your life is one of those daily lifestyle things that may be able to help us. They should be able.
So Kim, you mentioned that. I want to make sure people understand this is a great product for kids, because it is just food. It's no additives, preservatives, and it's just regular herbs, but it's great for kids too. Because I know Ray takes Jinka.
Yes, Ray takes it, but lots of kids take it. We've actually had a lot of testimonials with young boys who have eczema that use Jinka. I didn't realize how high the numbers are on young boys with eczema, with skin conditions. And so we have a large number that take 1 capsule a day, or they use the soap. But I've had a breastfeeding mom whose baby had eczema, and her using Jinka and feeding the baby helped clear the baby's eczema. And so we've seen lots of miraculous things.
I think one of the things, Kim, you mentioned, Ray being 9, and you're hearing these conversations. It leads to club, and club is is next level, and it's all the things. But I think young people are starting younger at really competing in athletics. And so what we give them as young kids, I think, is important. I mean, it's not to say that somebody like Bronny wasn't getting something, but I just wonder, starting so much younger at a level, we saw it in football before for many years with Pop Warner, but although the level of competition and the level of impact wasn't probably what it is now, but starting so young, competing so hard, what is it that we're giving young people to safeguard their bodies, right? To give them the things. I don't know what it is. I'm not a doctor, but what are we doing? Because that's got to be a lot, right? You're starting younger and going harder, so then longer. So when the time you're 18, and you started this when you were 5, right? Or even if you started it when you were 8, you know.
That's the math that I was looking at when they were trying to get her for damn near 3 a days. I was like, yeah, no, we're not necessarily pushing for scholarships. So
Right.
I don't know. I think that we definitely should. It should look more than just Gatorade and a pre-workout.
Right. Right. Gatorade's got sugar in it, but that's a whole nother show.
Whole nother
But
show.
a whole nother show.
You know, it's a lot of things that athletes, you know, go in on that, you know, may not be best for them. So we have a lot of young athletes that utilize our product. We have college basketball athletes. We have track runners, long distance runners. It's helped increase their, you know, reduce their time, their speed in their races. It's all over because once again, it's just food, y'all.
It's just food, and it's good food. And so I want to remind people that we talk about it, you know, about going to get it at HEB, getting it on your website. But you and I recently, I was listening to you and LJ, you guys have been brainstorming about ways to really try to get this to the community. And so one of the things that I know is on the horizon is partnering with some churches just because of the audience and being able to do some special things with churches so that their congregations know about the product. So maybe it's, you know, I don't know what the promotion will be yet, but I think that, and I say that because if you happen to be listening and you have an organization or you're part of a sorority or a fraternity, but really if you are a part of a church that would be interested in, you know, partnering up so that your congregation can, one, learn more about it, sample it, have Kim and LJ come out and visit. I think it's a great thing to know about and to do.
Absolutely. Yes. Thank you for sharing that. It's not finalized yet, but we will be partnering, collaborating with churches. And if you or your church or is interested, please reach out to us. Our goal is to share the product in as many ways as we can. And we know that churches have a lot of churches have wellness ministries. And so we would love to come and share with your wellness ministry, with your seniors, perhaps. It's helping lots of seniors with aches and pain and rheumatoid arthritis and those type of things. And so if there's a space where we can collaborate with your church, bring product, share, watch it make sense and help people, please let us know as we develop it.
ilovejinka.com is where you can always find them. Kim and LJ Williams, my not just my clients, but my friend. They were my friends first before they became my clients. And so I appreciate them for creating the product and just watching how they've moved. I mean, you know, like she's smiling today, she looks amazing, but this journey has been taxing and required a lot. And talk about stick to it. Like, I just have to applaud you for hanging in there, because I know some days you're like, man, there's got to be an easier way, but you just won't stop. So
absolutely.
I think that says a lot.
Every now and then I do remember I have 2 degrees on the wall and that I could shut this down and probably get a job tomorrow, but no way. We're in it to win it. And we're thankful for the ups and downs because we're still so new in our journey. And this is the long game for our family. So I appreciate you, Kim. Once again, I appreciate the Chalk Talk family for always receiving you and you sharing our product. And so thank you.
Thank you. Raynice talked about the She Sweet program that was started. I don't know which Kim I'm thinking she means you, Kim. But we'll both reach out to you because Raynice is our girl. So absolutely. Would love to be a part of that. Kim, or one or both. And absolutely. All right. So listen, ilovejinka.com. Anything special going on that we should know about before the end of the month?
We are in 175 HEB stores all around Texas. Check us out in Healthy Living. Our website is up and moving. Order your capsules. Give yourself a chance. 30 days and watch it work.
30 days and watch it work consistently. I mean, here's what I could tell you about the sleep. I mean, I'm usually up a lot later, but when it's time to go to sleep, I'm asleep. Like I'm getting better sleep. And I'm like, oh, it's because I'm much more consistent with my Jinka. So I know that's the thing. And then I pop up at 4:30 or 5. Even if I don't get up, by 5:30, it's just like, ma'am, you're wasting time. Get up. So it's not a stimulant, but it's giving me everything I need. So I thank you for the product. And listen, we are working on, I say we because most things I do, Kim and LJ are part of it, on doing a training camp special for Chalk Talk. We obviously will have a segment about I Love Jinka because I think athletes should really know about it. So stay tuned to that. Training camp starts tomorrow, and we got lots of good stuff coming your way. Thank you, Kim. And don't forget, if you also need, are you taking clients for eyebrows? I don't want anybody to get my spot.
Hey, yes, I'm always open for eyebrows. I'm balancing both businesses, but if someone is out there searching for eyebrows, eyebrowenergy.com. Dates,
all right.
Spaces are limited, but I got you.
Right. Yeah, I say that kind of quietly because I need my spot. All right, Kim. Thank you, my friend. I'll talk to you soon.
Thank you.
All right. That's Kim Edwards Williams. She is the co-founder of, wait, I got to do my, there you go. Okay, now you can go. She is a co-founder of co-founder or the founder of Eyebrow Energy. Hey, listen, that's going to do it for us today. We are out of time. Thank you as always for being a part of the show. I appreciate you being here. Follow me on all of the platforms. I am working on a special to do a special for training camp, a Chalk Talk special that I'd like to do. And so I am looking for some sponsors. If you happen to be a faithful listener or viewer of Chalk Talk and you might be interested, your business in supporting a special, hit me up and let me know. I really would love to hear from you. And I'm trying to do better at letting my tribe and community know what I'm working on and what the needs are. So let me know. We want to get that done. And hope to be doing some other exciting things with Chalk Talk on location in the coming weeks. I've been to some really interesting places. So I'm looking for some really interesting and cool partnerships. All right, everybody. Listen, that's going to do it for us today. Go Astros tonight. Tomorrow, training camp. It'll be hot. I'll have on a hat and we'll be drinking lots of water. And if you're moving around in this heat, I'm going to encourage you to do the same. Make it a great, great week. If you are not registered to vote, get registered. Get registered. Stay registered and then become informed. Find out what's happening in your community. What are the issues? Who are the people that are speaking to what benefits you and your family and your community? Figure that out for yourself. I'm not going to suggest who you should support, but I am going to highly encourage you to get registered to vote and to stay registered. Keep your registration current so whenever something comes up, you can be a participant. Be an informed participant. Remember, do something kind for yourself and do something kind for somebody else. Make it a great week. I'll see you next Tuesday right here on Chalk Talk. Peace.